Well, hello there. I am Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel, where I chat about knitting or whatever other crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down. And as always, I'm so happy that you're here hanging out with me, chatting about all those glorious and wonderful things. I'm back this week to catch you up on all the things that I've been working on since I last chatted with you. And it was actually Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, so I hope all of my US friends enjoy the long holiday weekend. Dennis and I actually managed to get out of Dodge. We booked our first flight in over a year, which is crazy sauce. I'll talk more about this in the blather segment where I chat about life stuff, but just to let you guys know, we are both fully vaccinated, and yeah, we just decided, you know, we really need a vacation, so found a last minute deal and hopped on a plane, and we took ourselves to Florida for a wonderful, awesome beach vacation. So again, I'll talk more about that at the end of the episode for those of you that want to stick around, but yeah, it was just a really, really nice, relaxing break. So I hope you guys are nice and relaxed and refreshed as well, wherever you are in the world, and just taking it easy and just enjoying getting some knitting done over the weekend. But anyway, enough waffling on. I've got a lot of stuff to catch you up on, so let's get into things. Works in progress. Last time I chatted with you, I had cast on the Napa Cardigan, a pattern from We Are Knitters. And full disclosure, again, they are not sponsoring me. They just very generously sent me one of their kits to try and chat about on the channel and give you my honest opinion about it. So yeah, here is where I am. And again, this is just a basic cardigan knit in pieces, and this is one of the pieces, the front pieces that I am working my way through. So there's that, and then I actually finished, okay, this is the back. I think I was still on the back when I showed this last to you, but yes, the back is done, and there's that, and here's the armhole shaping. And I finished the other side. I think this is like the right side, or I don't know, one of the sides, but that is done, and yeah, as you can see, it's just plain stockinette knit back and forth. So one thing that I'm not too thrilled about with this pattern is that it's knit in pieces, so it's, you know, knit one row, purl the other row, knit one row, purl the next row, on and on and on until you're all done. Whereas my preferred method of knitting sweaters and garments are in the round, you know, or seamlessly. But other than that, this has just been a very relaxing, enjoyable pattern to knit. And again, it's knit holding two strands of fingering weight together. And here is the yarn in question. This is it's 100% cotton, 100% Pima cotton, and it's actually surprisingly soft. And I'm pleasantly surprised because typically I don't, it's been a while since I've knit with cotton yarn, mainly because I'm generally not a fan of the way it feels in my hand. It usually, I don't know, I prefer to wear wool or knit with wool. But again, I was very pleasantly surprised by the way that this yarn handles. It's very next to skin. It honestly doesn't feel like your typical cotton weight yarn. This is not peaches and cream, my friends. So if you do enjoy knitting with cotton yarn or are interested in knitting cotton yarn, I can't recommend this yarn enough. And again, they are not paying me to say this. This is my honest opinion. So I'm really thoroughly enjoying working with this yarn, even holding it together to create this really awesome marled effect. And I will hold this up. So yeah. And again, I can't help but think that it reminds me of one of those composition marble notebooks that I used to use in school. It's just so fun. But yeah, this is going to be a perfect beach cover up for me. I think, you know, for the warmer weather, for chilly nights. Yeah, I think this is going to get a lot of wear. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't have this done in time for vacation. We're still in spring where I am, so I've got plenty of time to knock this out before summer comes, and you know, many Cape Cod trip in our future. This is going to get a lot of wear. I'm trying to think what else I want to say about it other than I am, yeah, again, really enjoying it. The pattern is very well written. I will say that it is, you know, again, the way the pattern is written, it's very geared towards beginners, it holds your hand throughout. And as an advanced knitter, someone who's been knitting for a very, very, very long time, I want to say over 12 years now, dare I say more, I'm finding the pattern to be just a smidge too simplistic for me, or just everything a little too spelled out, if that makes any sense. But anyway, that just means that I have to kind of like take my time reading through the pattern, making sure that I'm not missing anything. But again, if you are a beginner knitter, this is definitely a great pattern just to, you know, dip your feet, get used to knitting garments. So yeah, that's been my impression so far. So yeah, that is the Napa Cardigan by We Are Knitters. So thank you so much again to We Are Knitters for sending me this awesome, awesome little project. Since I spent my weekend on the beach, you would think that I would have taken that project with me, but I did not. I did not take the Napa Cardigan with me. Instead, I decided to cast on an entirely new project. My friends, my knitting mojo is making a return. I'm just casting on all the things lately. So anyway, I guess that's a good sign. But yeah, the main reason why I didn't take this project with me is because it's a garment and I really wanted to travel light. So this is already kind of bulky and knit in pieces. So I hopped on Ravelry and looked for something a little bit smaller, something more compact, portable, and dare I say, mindless, something that I could just go on autopilot with, and I found Joji Locatelli. Guys, Joji Locatelli always comes to my rescue when it comes to vacation knits. I always enjoy knitting on her patterns. They're just so relaxing and easygoing and intuitive. Anyway, I was browsing Ravelry and stumbled on her Faraway Dreams shawl, which is a very simple shawl. It's just a plain rectangle with a beautiful, beautiful contrasting lace border. And, you know, I basically picked this pattern not only because it was beautiful, but because she has you start out knitting just a plain rectangle in pure garter stitch. So yeah, just knitting back and forth for miles on end. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need for my trip. And it fit all in this tiny little pouch that I sewed up for myself. And yeah, it was just the perfect travel project. And I will admit, I didn't get much work done on it. Yeah, just because I was having fun and relaxing and, you know, got some rows in when I could, but here, I've got a long way to go, my friends. But yeah, this is where I am. Right now it's not even a square. It's not even square. And the yarn that I'm using, surprise, surprise, is my hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns, in the Thistle colorway. And this is a relatively new colorway that I came out with. It's actually a reworking of two colorways that I came up with in the past. It was, I think, this colorway Tega that I used to dye, and Moondrop. Yeah, so those are colorways that I no longer dye, but I just kind of reimagine them and they work their way into my new Thistle colorway. So it's just a very delicate lavender with hints of cool and warm shades throughout. And yeah, I love the way it's knitting up. It's just a very delicate colorway. Yeah, easily one of my new favorites, I think. So yeah, it's just gonna be a giant rectangle of this colorway, and then I'm still trying to decide on what I want the contrasting colorway to be. I'm thinking maybe my Weep colorway, which is a shaded gray. Or I don't know, I feel like I use Grim a lot, which is my shaded black colorway. I use that quite often because it's pretty much my favorite, one of my favorite colorways that I dye. It's black, it goes with everything, and makes my goth heart sing. I am using again, it's a shawl. You don't really need to, in my opinion, my humble opinion, you don't really need to swatch for shawls. You just really need to make sure that you're enjoying the fabric, that it's not too tight or too loose. And you know, I'm using the needle size that the pattern calls for, a US size 6, 4mm. And yeah, that's the way it's knitting up, and I like it. So yes, and speaking of beach knitting, I think this is a great time to mention this week's sponsor, Chirp. As you guys know, I love pairing my knitting with audiobooks, but I also love listening to them while soaking up some rays. So when it came to finding a beach-worthy listen, I knew that I could find a great deal on Chirp. Chirp is an online audiobook store that lets you get amazing limited time deals on select audiobooks. The books are yours to keep, and unlike many other audiobook services, there's no monthly subscription fees or minimum purchases. I love Chirp because it's easy to browse and offers hundreds of audiobook deals to choose from, up to 95% off. While I'm still working my way through the Bridgerton series, I wanted to mix things up a little bit for vacation, so I hopped onto Chirp and scored The Hidden Beach by Karen Swan for, wait for it, $2.99. And guys, I mean, talk about a great beach listen. Check it out. That said, Chirp is offering my viewers, that's you, a 50% discount on your first download. Just click on the link in the description box below and enter the code VoolenvineYarn50 at checkout. A big thank you to Chirp for sponsoring my channel, and to my viewers, happy listening. Moving along to The Widow's Kiss. This is a pattern that I also recently cast on, a pattern by Thea Coleman. It's just a wonderful, gloriously cabled pullover. And to be honest, I really haven't made much progress on it. I mean, just a very little bit on the cables. And I did table this for just a little bit because I wanted to put a dent in my Napa cardigan. But the other reason this kind of got tabled a little bit is because I've actually got to rip back a couple of rows. I definitely dropped the beginning of the row stitch. I don't know what happened to it, but I started cabling on a row that I shouldn't have started cabling. So I've just got to, you know, figure out what happened here and continue on. But I just wasn't in the right headspace to rip back and figure all that stuff out. So this got put on the back burner or it's still on the back burner until, I guess after my Napa cardigan is done. But yeah, again, the weather is super warm out here. There's no rush for me to finish it. But again, I don't want it to languish. I don't want it to be forgotten about, because I do have a tendency when something new and shiny comes along, things tend to get forgotten. And I just don't want that to happen with this project. Again, it's just a very, very enjoyable knit so far. The cables are stupid easy. I know they look very complicated, but again, it's a very intuitive. I can watch TV and focus on other things while knitting on this, except for those, you know, once in a while cable rows. Again, the yarn is by Valley Yarns in their Hampshire wool. It's 100% wool, worsted weight in their charcoal colorway. So yeah, just what my wardrobe needs, another black sweater. But I will be honest, the last black sweater that I knit was the Nurtured Pullover by Andrea Mowry. And while I thoroughly enjoyed knitting that pattern, I don't like the way it fits. It's just a little too cropped and boxy on me. So I really just use it as a sweater that I chuck on over whatever I'm wearing in the house when it gets chilly. But yeah, it's not what I was exactly looking for when it comes to a wardrobe staple. But I have a good feeling that this is definitely going to become one of those pieces. Just, you know, something that gets worn a lot come cooler weather. And that, my friends, is all the creative content that I have to share with you this week. Yeah, you know, I've just been it's been very touch and go working on, you know, putting progress into projects that I have going on. And I did pick up spinning for a hot second last week, but nothing much to write home about. I guess I will move along into the blather segment where I chat about life stuff, should you care to stick around. As I mentioned, Dennis and I, took a flight, our very first flight in over a year, to Florida. We went to Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood Beach, a place that I've never been to before. And to be honest, we were looking at all the different places that we could go. It was very last minute and a lot of places were booked up, but some other destinations that we were looking into also required you to have negative COVID tests coming into their territory and leaving. So that was a headache that we really didn't want to deal with. And again, I will say, Dennis and I are fully vaccinated. We've had both shots, so we're good. I'm not going to say it was the most comfortable journey. We had to wear our masks on the plane the entire time, which, you know, again, we were completely fine with. You know, it's like we want everyone to be safe and, you know, just follow the rules and keep everyone safe and healthy as possible. So that was something that wasn't entirely pleasant, but well worth it for the trip that we had. You know, we just got to enjoy warm weather, blue beaches, beautiful weather, and just really, really, really good food. I am such a fan of seafood. So, you know, getting to eat probably some of the freshest seafood that I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely delicious. I actually got sunburned, guys. If you follow this channel, you know I am pasty as a ghost, and when it comes to sitting on the beach, I burn like nobody's business. So I usually slather on the SPF 110, but somehow I still manage to get a tan and burned in random weird places. Despite that, yeah, it was a much needed, very relaxing trip, and yeah, it just felt so great to travel. I actually got a little verklempt, you know, flying on the plane. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was emotional for me because I love travel. I love travel so much. There's nothing like getting on a plane and going somewhere new and, you know, experiencing new experiences. And I know for many, even without having to wear a mask on a plane, flying is generally not a pleasurable experience because, you know, you're dealing with all these people, you're stuck in a tube for who knows how many hours. But there's something about flying that I really enjoy. The anticipation that you're going somewhere, it's exciting for me. I can kind of tune all that other stuff out and just think about what's on the other side. Anyway, I'm just very, very happy that we can travel again. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to travel abroad very soon. You know, I really do miss Europe. I miss Scotland. I miss London. I miss, you know, I want to go back to Italy, to Paris, and all the places that I've never been before. I want to go to there. So anyway, I'm getting a little carried away, but yes, just very, very happy and excited that travel is opening back up again. I am gonna end things there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're new here and you haven't already, please feel free to like and subscribe down below. I put out a video for your viewing pleasure weekly-ish, and until the next video, I'll see you next time. Bye!